and into the next life with
Drew
Drew
and me.
and me and Jeff Roser.
Hello.
Okay, welcome to the Drew and Me podcast, where we talk about music, we talk about movies, sometimes we do sketches, and we talk about whatever else we want to talk about. And today we're joined by a very special guest who has been on the pod before,
I
comedian
think
Jeff
this is
Roser.
I think this is my fourth time. It's at least my third.
I think it's four. Yeah.
I do think it's four.
Um, yeah, because first time we talked about Private Parts, the
Yeah.
Howard Stern movie.
That's actually what I remember best was rewatching Private Parts for the first time in like 20 years.
Yeah, that's such a good movie, and I feel like it holds up pretty well, actually. Um, and then we did one about Her Smell, and there
Oh,
was
that's it. That's it. Because I never heard of that
another
movie,
one.
but I I had never heard of that movie, but I remember I really liked that one. It's
Yeah,
funny too,
like
because since that podcast, I've told people about Her Smell, like because it's a good movie, but they're all weirded out by the title Her Smell. I'm like, no, it's the movie pretty much based on Courtney Love. Like you'll like it, but yeah, I don't know if anybody's actually watched it.
yeah, like it's basically about a struggling music artist.
Mm-hmm.
Like not necessarily struggling, but like a music artist and like her experiences on tour and
Yeah,
her life. Which there aren't a ton of movies like that. So that one I thought was really good.
yeah,
Um, yeah, that's actually probably a movie I'm gonna try to rewatch this weekend.
yeah.
So yeah, it should be good. I think we talked about saying goals too. Singles, which is a
Oh,
Cameron
that's
Crowe
right.
movie about the people in Seattle in the 90s and they're dating.
Yeah, which
And
I forgot, which also has one of the best soundtracks ever. A very famous soundtrack in the 90s.
absolutely. And I think and the band Soundgarden is like heavily featured in the movie. I think they go to
Yeah,
like a Soundgarden concert in the movie or like they see Chris Cornell performing and that's like really cool.
yeah. Yeah,
Um
you have a better memory than I do for which movies we've
well,
watched.
um yeah, like I feel like to do a good movie about music is like really awesome and it's great to see like movies about music on the screen. I recently just saw the Bob Marley movie
Yeah,
and that was really good. Have you gotten a chance to check it out?
I have not.
Yeah. Um yeah, it's really good. It should be on streaming in a few months.
Right. Yeah, I think the
Like
last movie I saw in theaters was Iron Claw.
oh,
I
cool.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't get to
Very,
see that one.
very good.
But I heard really good things,
Yeah, it's
and
real.
from the clips I saw
I'm a
were
big
awesome.
wrestling guy, so I went and saw that one early.
Nice. Um, yeah, and I know that critics said that the Efron performance in that movie was like really good. Like,
Yeah, it is. It is. It's also hard to see him looking old because I'm so used to him being the high school musical kid. Now he's like 36 now, so it's kind of odd.
Yeah, like he does look a little bit different in that movie, but yeah, like I kind of agree. Like to me, he'll always be like the kid from High School Musical.
Yeah.
Uh, Troy. Um, cool. So in this episode, Jeff and I are going to talk about two animated movies that I just kind of picked because I was kind of thinking about them, and uh Jeff and I like to talk about movies. So
Mm,
um yeah, this one Disney movie, Home on the Range, it came out in like 2004, and I'm guessing the studio probably like told Roseanne Barr that they were writing a movie for, and
yeah.
they chose to offer her like Home on the Range. So Roseanne Barr plays a cow, and her farm gets sold. And then there's like a rancher on the loose who he like kidnaps cows and sells them for profit, I think. Or yeah, I don't know. Like he does bad things to the cows. So um, yeah, so it stars Roseanne Barr, Judi Dench, Randy Quaid, and Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah,
Um,
well, I have the page up now. I'm looking at the cast and I did not real apparently Steve Buscemi's in it too.
yeah, he plays like the salesman guy or the guy that Randy Quaid tries to sell the cows to
Yeah, I
at
did
the
not know
end.
that.
Yeah, he's done like a lot of cool animation stuff. I think when he was in Monsters Incorporated as Randall, I think that was like kind of his first kind of foray into like the animation movies, but kind of since then he's done a few. Yeah. Um
Is Randy Quaid the one who can't come back to the country, or is that Dennis Quaid?
I'm not sure. It might be
Yeah,
Randy
it's all
Quaid.
right. It's Dennis,
Oh,
or
y-
unless I'm
you said he's not allowed to come back to the country?
yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's Randy Quaid.
Okay. Yeah, because Dennis Quaid's about to make a movie about Ronald Reagan. So,
Yeah, it's Randy Quaid. He's
oh wow.
eh? Yeah, I always
Is it
get those
like
two.
a is it like a Roman Polanski thing?
No, no.
Oh, hmm. That's weird because Randy Quaid's a US guy, right? He was born in the US.
Yeah.
Hmm. That's odd. I didn't know that. Hmm. Wow. Um, the biggest Randy
Hey,
Quaid
yeah,
thing that stands out.
something to do with his passport. Yeah,
Hmm.
something to do with his passport. Looks like a
Oh,
travel.
but he's a US citizen, isn't he?
Yeah, but he became a Canadian citizen. It looks like while he was granted citizenship in Canada, it's something. It's
Oh,
some of that. Yeah, he's technically a Canadian citizen now.
so he doesn't have like the dual citizenship.
No, no.
Oh, maybe he just has to. gonna take the U.S. exam.
Hmm. Well, whatever it is, seems like he's staying in Canada.
Hmm. Yeah, I got you. Um, yeah, that's curious. So yeah, that's pr- pretty cool that he's in the movie. Um,
Yeah.
um, yeah, the
It
first
did
time I
seem to
saw it
me,
was,
well,
hmm?
with the casting, it seemed like my impression watching the movie was that it was a movie for Roseanne, like
Yeah,
the whole
definitely,
movie was supposed to revolve around her,
definitely.
which I guess also you consider what year this was. It would have been a couple years after Roseanne ended, so she was kind of in
Yeah,
limbo for a while. Oops.
yeah. I, I don't know if she was still doing stand up or if she mostly just did that in like the 80s
Yeah,
and
I don't
90s.
think she did. I think her, like, after she got canceled, that was like her big return to stand up. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think she had quit stand up at this point.
Yeah, think
Had
you're
quit
right.
for a while, then got
Yeah,
canceled and went back to doing it. But yeah, I'm pretty sure.
yeah. Um, I like her in the movie, like keeping in mind that the movie's supposed to entertain really little kids.
Yeah,
Like, I feel like it was probably rushed, and it's not like the greatest script in the world. Like, I wish maybe like she had something a little bit more challenging, but she just kind of plays a cow. So
yeah, yeah. I would say as far as the script felt, I would say rushed. Like there wasn't much detail to it.
no.
And it wasn't, I don't know, none of the characters, again, this is a kids movie, but none of the characters were very well defined. It was just kind of Roseanne is this brassy cow who's kind of in your face, and all the characters work around that.
Yeah. Um, like coming from an era where Roseanne was very popular in like the 80s and 90s, like I did think it was like refreshing to see a movie that was like all about her.
Hmm.
So that was kind of cool, but a lot of the other characters they don't really do much. Like it's just like whatever happens, they just kind of go with the flow. I kind of wish the Cuba Gooding Jr. horse could have done more.
Yeah.
Because he's like kind of a cool character. Like in like another script, they probably could have developed him more and had him like with like a pack of horses or something. Like
Yeah.
so, like that would have been probably a little bit more fun. Um, yeah. So it pretty much comes down to like for an adult, how much do you like Roseanne Barr and
Yeah.
how much do you like Randy Quaid as the villain? And like he sings songs to like hypnotize cows, which is kind of interesting. I thought it was interesting that his henchmen all look the same.
Yeah.
I guess they're like cousins or they're brothers or something. Yeah. Um, so like, but for like little kids, I think it's perfectly like I think it's perfectly like quality entertainment. Like especially if kids live in the city and they don't live on like a farm or something, like I feel like it could be cool to see farm animals.
Hmm.
Um, like for whatever reason, I'm thinking about the movie The Fox and the Hound, and
I was just thinking about that movie the other day too, because I haven't seen that like since I was a kid. I
yeah,
saw a live fox recently, and that's what was making me think of it actually.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like that's one of the more relaxed Disney movies where the animals like hang out most of
Mm.
the time, and then close to the end of the movie, it kind of starts to get a little bit more dramatic. But yeah. Um, no, in this movie, farm gets sold. Roseanne's trying to catch Randy Quaid, who's Alameda Slim, the rancher who's hypnotizing cows, and then he sells them for profit. So, um, yeah, he sells them to Steve Buscemi. So, um, they're trying to get that worked out. Yeah, so it's not a bad movie. It's not really a classic, but you know,
Yeah, to be honest with you, I hadn't heard of it before you
hmm,
suggested it. And I don't know why. Like, I guess I wasn't looking out for Disney movies at the time. But yeah, I was kind of surprised I'd never heard of it. Seems like it made its money back at the box office.
it didn't actually. It was
It did?
a few million short.
Oh, I did not. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so I guess the TV rights didn't really get like purchased after that because I never saw it on TV or anything like that.
Hmm.
They they probably aired it on The Wonderful World of Disney like once probably, and then that was probably it. But it's definitely one aside from Disney Plus, it's kind of hard to find streamers and things like that. Like you can probably rent it on Amazon, but
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, um kind of an interesting project. Roseanne Barr in a kids movie. So, yeah. Um yeah, that's cool. We also watched An American Tail, which I grew up watching. I have an older sister, and she had this American Tail VHS. It came out in '86.
Yeah. Year
I
I was
was born
born.
in. Oh, cool,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, I'm from 1990.
Okay.
So, yeah, just always grew up kind of watching it, and um, it is a fairly sad movie, but it's also like
Yeah.
really sophisticated too,
Yeah.
and like the music is really good. Like growing up, I just always remember liking it, and like I guess from like a little kid standpoint, I was always surprised when went like just how things kind of work out. Like I was always like, is he gonna be okay, or like things like that. Like that really got me.
Yeah, actually, so I didn't remember that this is Fievel because growing up, one of my favorite movies was actually Five O Goes West, which I haven't seen since I was a kid, but I know I watched that one all the time when I was um I watched that as a kid. I don't know. When I was a little kid, I remember Five O Goes West being a big thing.
Yeah. I actually, I still haven't. I I still don't think I've actually seen Five Goes West.
I might
Since
rewatch it now after watching this, honestly. Just you know, see why I liked it so much as a kid.
Hmm. um, probably my favorite part of American Tail is the Dom DeLuise playing the
Yeah.
cat.
Yeah.
The Like he's great, and it seems like he has a big featured role in Five What Goes West.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised to see him as part of the cast of this movie. Yeah, it's just not a name I think about a lot because he's well before our time. But
Yeah. Yeah, he did animation stuff. Like he was like on an episode of Magic School Bus.
hmm,
He worked with Don Bluth on a number of movies, A Troll in Central Park and things like that. Yeah, if there was a Don Bluth project, he was usually involved in it.
hmm,
Um, yeah, and he did write a children's book that I remember they had like hundreds of copies at the elementary school I worked at actually, and they still had copies of his children's book. So yeah, I guess Tom DeLuise did do a lot of children's stuff. I know he's famous for cooking.
huh.
Like I know that was a thing he did a lot, and then his comedy, and then he, yeah, he did some children's stuff. But he's such good comic relief in American Tail because like that movie is so like
It's
it's
heavy.
kind of downtrodden and kind of like
Yeah.
heart-wrenching and you're like really rooting for Fievel and then like he just keeps getting into trouble though. Just
Or they, I mean, they lose people or they lose mice that they know. It's kind of dark.
yeah, like
Like their whole village gets attacked in the beginning of the movie.
like it's really like in immigration story of like a
Yeah.
family like forced to immigrate and then people who get lost in the immigration process.
Yeah. He gets, I
So
mean, he gets sold to a sweatshop at one point. And that's early, fairly early on in the movie.
yeah, yeah. Um, I kind of feel like they didn't go like too deep into that because that's like really dark. But yeah,
Yeah, it is.
yeah. Uh, yeah, like it definitely kind of made me think about the immigration stuff and kind of like a family immigrating from another country to the US to New York or something. Did you see that Saoirse Ronan movie, Brooklyn?
No. When's that from?
Oh, that came out a few years ago. And she's from Ireland, and then she just moves to Brooklyn, and she has to go through like the immigration process and stuff. And it's not set as old as this movie, but it's in like the 40s, I think.
Hmm.
So it's like 30s or 40s, but it's really good. Yeah, she falls in love with a guy who loves the Dodgers and yeah, he's a big like baseball guy and he's Italian and she has the option either to stay with this guy she met in New York or move back to Ireland where she would be rich and wealthy and she would live on this guy's like home property.
Hmm.
Um yeah, it's a good movie. Yeah, in American Tail the main character Pivel, he's not really given too much of a choice. Like a lot of things just kind of happen to him.
Right.
So, um, he's just like really curious. Like I guess like he's like 6 or 7, but he just has like morbid curiosity about everything. Just
Right.
And like he's trying to like save his hat and goes outside on the ship and he gets separated from his dad and he's still kind of around and things like that.
I mean,
And
yeah, that's a point in the movie is they think he's dead when he gets separated off the ship. They think he's dead. And this is a Disney movie and a character that's supposed to be like 7 years old, and to imply that he's dead early on.
and they have moments in the movie where they're like 2 inches away from each other or like something like that. And it's like to show just the coincidences of like things that happen. Uh I'm not sure the actor who plays the villain, but the villain in the movie is great. Uh, Warren T. Rat, who he's actually a cat, but he pretends to be a rat, and that's kind of funny. And he has like a pet cockroach that does everything for him and things like that. Um, yeah, like I honestly would love to see like a TV show about Fievel and him just doing stuff. So I'm not surprised that like they made the sequel because like the like the original is like so compelling. Like it has like great music by James Horner and visually the animation's really kind of cool and it's really fun to see him explore different places in New York and things like that. And yeah, I feel like they could have done a show in like New York or something, or like Fievel takes a trip to like Japan or like China or something. So
Yeah.
that probably could have been cool. But yeah, I'm not surprised that they chose to do Fievel Goes West because him just like exploring new places is just really fun because like he's so curious. Um yeah. Um yeah, I remember like watching this movie from a really young age, being like 3 or 4 and like really liking the "There Are No Cats in America" song. Like there are no cats in America. Like
I mean,
I
maybe it's a dated thing at this point, but there is a time when it's a very American dream movie where you're moving for a better life. I don't know if that would hold up now. I don't know if public sentiment would agree with that, but that's a very 80s thing that somebody from a oppressed country would come here thinking they're going to have it way better.
yeah, like America, like live the American dream
Mm.
and like things like that and like really have a good life. Well, Fievel does survive, so because there is a sequel. So
Mm.
for
There's two
people that
apparently.
are hmm?
There's Five Goes West, and then they put out two direct-to-video movies in the late
Right.
90s.
You're right, they did. Yeah, I'll have to see if I can track those down.
Mm.
Um, yeah, that's really cool. Um, yeah, like the director who did American Tail, Don Bluth, who also did The Land Before Time. So, like, you get really good classic, like hand-drawn animation and a good story and kind of some really good kind of dramatic effect. And I think Steven Spielberg also produced it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, like I thought in general it's a really solid movie. And I feel like if you're like a little kid watching it, you might not really think about the immigration stuff. Like you just
Right.
think about
There are,
you
yeah,
just
some adult themes to it, honestly.
yeah, yeah, like religion and like um the status quo, like how you live and things like that. And they get invaded by the Russian cats. So they pretty much have to move to America. Um, yeah. Like pretty dark for a kids movie. Like for me, watching it at such a young age, like I just always kind of grew up with it. But I remember even like I felt kind of sad watching it, but
Hmm.
being able to sympathize like with the 5 character, like he's really just a kid in a big world. So just trying to really survive. Yeah, so um yeah, for an American Tail, I guess you can just rent it from Amazon because I don't think it's streaming anywhere.
Yeah, that's right. I had to get it off Amazon.
Hmm. Yeah. I'll have to see if I can check out the direct to home stuff. Yeah,
Hmm.
the direct to home video. Um, nice. Probably of the two movies, I'm more partial to American Tail just because I always grew up with it.
Yeah, I also just thought it was a better watching them back to back. I thought it was just a better movie.
Y- yeah. Um, like Disney Studios, like they're obligated to make at least one movie a year. So, like, I'm sure they're like, we haven't really done a Western, so let's try to do a Western movie. We have Roseanne Barr who's interested in doing a movie with us, so let's give her the script to this Western and let's do it.
Hmm.
So did that. Uh with American Tail, Don Bluth had done the Secret of Nim before that. And I haven't seen Secret of Nim, but I hear really positive things.
Yeah.
And
I read the book.
then hmm?
I read the book as a kid.
Cool. Did you like the book?
Yeah, I remember liking it. I guess I was in fourth grade. Yeah, I remember liking it.
Yeah. So that was really successful. And then I think that got Steven Spielberg's attention and he helped out with Land Before Time and then American Tail. So him like producing those movies, I think probably helped like tenfold.
Hmm.
Because there were some Don Bluth movies after All Dogs Go to Heaven and after American Tail that were a little bit different. Like there was like Rockadoodle and like Troll in Central Park and like, The Pebble for the Penguin and just kind of different animated movies that came out that maybe weren't as strong as American Tail.
Hmm.
But Jeff was talking about he grew up watching the sequel to American Tail, Five Goes West, which just seemed like really bits and pieces. I should check it out.
Hmm.
Mm. Um, let's see. So we are running out of time. So we're just gonna wrap up really quickly. Jeff, are there any last thoughts on either American Tail or Home on the Range?
Yeah, I would say just American Tail had actual social commentary to it, which
Yeah.
Home on the Range did not.
Um, let's see. I think what I think for Home on the Range, they were trying to make it like an Animal Farm or something like that. Like it kind of had
Right,
the elements, but it didn't follow through.
right.
So, yeah, check out American Tail, and if you have time, you can also check out Home on the Range. All right, it's been Drew and me with